Hello my good people, it is a fantastic morning here in Kenya. It is around 8 a.m. in the morning, so that we have just wake up today morning. So today I'll be training you something about rabbit keeping, yeah, because here's where I usually come from. Like now I'm just entering the kitchen. Some breakfast with me here. This is a jiko, yeah. If you have never seen a jiko, this is a jiko, that is another jiko. This is a sufuria, so I want to prepare some breakfast, yeah. I want to prepare some breakfast before today's duties guy, yeah. Here is where my journey usually starts every morning. So today we are just going to learn something about rabbit farming, yeah. Because I have one request, my guys, yeah. Actually, the truth is that I have not been monetized, so I kindly request my audience, yeah, just make sure we watch this. I've just created a playlist of around 50 videos, so just watch the entire 50 videos. Just make sure that you play the video so that I can get monetized, yeah, because I really need the watching hour. And apart from that, if you are new to this YouTube channel, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like, comment, and also share to other people, because my channel is very educative, yeah, because purposely it is about animals, and we keep on learning, yeah. So guys, yeah, here's where my journey usually starts, because I want to refreshen up, brush my teeth, then I proceed to train you guys something about rabbit keeping, yeah, because that's an interesting topic for today. So I have to dive into it so that we can learn why rabbit keeping, the diseases that affect rabbit, management practices, and actually marketing the rabbit, yeah, because we know that in this world people eat rabbit. So I have to tell you how to market this rabbit meat, yeah, and how people are doing this rabbit keeping in different regions. So I have to travel from here so that I can just go get some content about that. Then we can now proceed from that, because we are just learning, yeah. Remember the other time I showed you about this program. Now it has removed the flowers now, yeah. It has grown up to that point, yeah. It has grown to that point. You see the way they are very tall, and we can really appreciate that, because yeah, this is how sorghum looks like. And this is now let me just bring one down this way, yeah. This is how sorghum looks like. This is sorghum now. It actually starts this way, then it will make the sorghum here, yeah. How things work here, because how things proceed from here, because that is sorghum basically. So after here, join me and make sure you watch this video to the end so that we can learn something about pig, something like we can learn something about rabbit farming, yeah. Let's dive in it as I travel to there, where in a farm, somebody's farm, so that I can discuss the topic for today. Thank you and welcome as we proceed with the journey. Guys, I've just arrived where there are some rabbits here. There are around 4 rabbits, but because of the educational purpose, so that I proceed with those 4 rabbits. But where am I? We can see some construction undergoing here. Let me just show you how construction is undergoing here. Yeah, you can see construction is undergoing here. This is how we do construction. That is we call it saw, for cutting timbers and the entire thing, yeah. Yeah, I think they're trying to make something. What is this construction all about?
Yeah, it's all about construction of the rabbit structure.
Yes.
That will enable the rabbit to sit well and at least have good habitat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because let me just discuss with my audience here in your rabbits here, so that we can learn here something new, yeah. Yeah, let me just use your rabbit so that for demonstration purpose, yeah. Okay. You can see I've just opened this door. Here we have rabbits here. Yeah, there are 4 in number, and actually we are going to discuss into detail about this rabbit, yeah, because this is now the topic of today. Before we go to one-on-one interview with the owner of this rabbit, because at the end of the day, maybe ask me some questions about the rabbit, because I remember like yesterday was just somebody was interviewing me that because you have knowledge about animals and you don't even have a chicken, how do you feel? Yeah, me, I just told him, yeah, this is all about, it is a matter of time, yeah, because maybe one time I'll be owning animals, yeah, because I have this knowledge, yeah, the future is bright. I'll get some animals, because once I dive into animal keeping, I'll do that animal keeping with passion. Once I have money, I'll dive to this rearing of animals, because the biggest challenge is about having money to buy something like rabbit, chicken, the cow, so that I can keep where I stay. Yeah, remember I told you guys I have rented, so there is where I usually come from every morning. Yeah, so today we are now talking about these rabbits. Let me just put the back camera as I dive in that topic, where I'll explain why rabbit farming and the entire thing about rabbit. Yeah, let me just describe that while I'm putting camera on these rabbits, so that we go slow by slow. At least at the end of the day, we learn something. Even I'll show you a rabbit here is just bursting on the sun. Yeah, here the rabbit that is bursting on the sun. You can see that white rabbit. It is bursting on the sun, so that it can get sunlight. Remember, sunlight helps in bone, actually in strengthening the bones and the entire thing. Yeah, it is good in terms of vitamins and actually the entire thing. So some people usually ask me why rabbit farming. Yeah, so the reason why I usually tell people that the reason why you should keep rabbit is this. Rabbit are one of the best livestock animals for beginners, and this is why. Yeah, as you can see this rabbit, yeah, because they require less space. You don't need acres of land. A small hutch can be enough to start. Like you can see this house. Yeah, this house is too big for this rabbit, because they can only occupy a small portion of this house. So that means in a small area you can keep a lot of rabbit, so that you can venture in that rabbit farming. Another reason is that they grow faster, ready for market about 3 to 5 months. Yeah, you see like these I don't know which color is this rabbit here. It is only like a month old, and you can see now it is almost mature enough. Yeah, same to this white one. Yeah, the mother of this rabbit is the farthest end there. That is the mother of this rabbit here. So that means they grow very fast, and at about 3 to 5 months, yeah, you get that they have reached maturity age, so that somebody can even sell, or you make it as a meal. We'll talk about that and we proceed from there. Another thing is about a female rabbit, also called doe. Yeah, you see this female, yeah, like that is a female, this is a female, and this is female. Yeah, so the female rabbit is called a doe of D-O-E. Yeah, and can give up to around 6 to 10 kids every month. Yeah, so that means like this one, it gave birth to around how many? It gave birth to some number of kids. So after giving birth, okay, that I'll just do a one-on-one interview with the owner, so that he can tell us what happened to the other rabbit, because the last time I checked this rabbit, they were around, there are some 2 missing. Yeah, I can't understand why there are some 2 missing. Yeah, so another thing is about their meat is low in fat, high in protein, and in high demand, especially among health conscious consumers. Yeah, that is just self-explanatory, because I have tested this rabbit meat, and actually it is very sweet. Yeah, this meat from rabbit is very sweet, my people. Yeah, because I've tested before, and it is very delicious. Yeah, about rabbit are quiet. You can see rabbit, they don't make any noise. Yeah, and clean and cheap to feed as compared to other livestock, because I've requested the owner to bring some feed, so that we can feed this rabbit, and at the end of the day we learn something on how to feed this rabbit, because I'll also dive in the topic about feeding rabbit, and we can really appreciate. Yeah, so now I'm going to dive on a topic called rabbit housing, yeah. Something about housing these rabbit, yeah. Rabbit can do well in a hutch, yeah. Remember, hutch is the house of rabbit. Sometimes you can call it cage, yeah. It should be raised from the ground, yeah. Let me show you, like this one, yeah. It is raised from the ground, yeah. You can see this is a space here. There is no any rabbit, but you can see they are in a raised place, yeah. So this is how these rabbits are. This is to avoid dampness and keep predators away, yeah. You know, predators like dogs can attack rabbit, so that to keep them away, you have to put them in a raised place like here. You see, let me show a far camera. Yeah, they're in a raised place. Then something like a cage, they are caged in a housing. Another thing, they have to have a roof to protect them from rain and heat. Let me just show you the roof, yeah? That there is the roof of this rabbit cage. That is the roof. So this roof is very good to protect them from harsh weather condition. Another thing, well ventilated, yeah. You can see we have here something like a wire mesh for ventilation, and even the door, as you have seen, we have the door. It is good for ventilation, so that means they don't like too much heat, yeah. Remember, these rabbits don't like too much heat, so proper ventilation is the way to go. Another thing, we have used wire mesh. We have not even, you can see that these for these something about droppings, yeah. I would advise this farmer to put something. You see, like here, this environment is not clean enough, so this is the reason why it is not clean enough. You see here down, you should have put something like a wire mesh, so that the dropping tray can go down, yeah, directly down. Like here, you can see they're just putting here. They're just doing their wasting here. Then these litters from the feed and the entire thing, they're here. So you get that there is accumulation of a lot of dirtiness here. So he has to put something like a wire mesh down, so that the droppings, once they do dropping, it goes directly to the ground, yeah. So I'm going to dive on something about now feeding, yeah. So something about feeding. Okay, guys, I'm now just going to talk something about feeding, yeah. What should rabbits feed on? Because we know very well that rabbits are herbivorous, so that means rabbits should feed on maybe plants specifically. So I'm going to tell you things that rabbit can feed on, and we can just do an actual feeding of a rabbit, so that we can see the way they enjoy their meal. They eat very well, and we can really appreciate, guys, yeah. So one of the things that rabbit can eat is called hay, yeah. So this should be actually there are number of actually one of the feed that these rabbits should feed, because it is great for digestion, yeah. You get that feeding them on hay, yeah. Advocate for hay is because, yeah, when you are feeding these rabbits, avoid giving them just plant from the shamba to the rabbit, because they can cause bloating. Bloating is the swelling of the stomach, yeah. And sometimes when they have the rabbit have fed maybe in on something that is green from the shamba to here, it can cause a lot of bloating, because it is just from maybe a marshy area, and actually that's not good, yeah. So these rabbits, so you can feed on hay. Another thing that you can feed your rabbit on is a green vegetable like skuma wiki. In English, skuma wiki is kales. Then spinach, you can just give them. Carrot tops are actually the perfect, yeah, because you know the reason for giving them carrot tops, because it has vitamins, and also actually it is vitamins like the vitamin A for vision and the entire thing, yeah. See the way they are doing noise, yeah. Having this animal just something enjoyable, yeah. You enjoy, yeah. They're just motivating. See the way they're doing their noses. Another thing is about giving them pellets, yeah. Pellet, if available, yeah, because for pellets they are rich in protein and minerals, yeah. There are some pellets that they are being sold in agrovets, and where some in agrochemical shops somebody can go buy, so that he can supplement the levels of minerals and levels of actually the levels of protein in their body. Another thing is making sure that these rabbit has enough water. Yeah, I've visited a lot of rabbit farmers, and there is something that they are getting it wrong. Yeah, most of them they are not aware that rabbits need drinking water the way human needs water for drinking. Yeah, make sure your rabbit too has water to drink. Yeah, it should be always there at libitum. Yeah, it should access freely to water and the entire thing. Yeah, remember, even for them, they become thirsty, them they have to quench their thirstiness. Yeah, so giving them water is very good, and actually it is most appreciable. Yeah, and what you should avoid, too much of cabbage. Yeah, remember, cabbage has a lot of water inside, and I was talking something about bloating. Yeah, so too much of cabbage causes bloating, so somebody can avoid that in all the cost. And another thing somebody can avoid is wet or moldy feeds. Remember, for wet and moldy feeds, this it means they cause diarrhea. Yeah, we don't want that you come here. Remember, the feces of a rabbit should be this way. Let me show you a fecal matter of a rabbit. Yeah, should be this way, round and hard. Yeah, once you see the rabbit is diarrheaing, just know it has just ate something that is not good. Yeah, so, and you have to change that. I'm going to show you something, actually something about feeding rabbit. Yeah, because when I'm talking, I have to feed this rabbit here, so that even for them, yeah, I don't know here, because this environment is not that clean, but I just put something like a sample. Yeah, sample to only show how they feed. Yeah, this is a sack where they have harvested some weeds from the shamba, so that we can give these rabbits to feed on. Let me just put small of it, because it should be dried, then feed to these yeah. And the next time they're harvesting something like this, they should avoid, they should you see, now they're coming, yeah, because they have seen greens, they're coming here next to the door. And the next time, no, I'll just hold for them so that they eat. Yeah, let us see the way they're eating. Yeah, you see the way they like these things. Yeah, you can see the way they're coming here. Yeah, I have to get a place where it is clean enough so that I can place these things for them, so that they can eat well. Yeah, you can see even this one is standing. Yeah, have you ever seen a rabbit standing? Yeah, you have seen this one as stand. Yeah, so that means, let me just try to make them stand. Yeah, it is very funny. Let me see if they will stand. Yeah, I've just put some distance up so that I see if they can stand by themselves, guys. Yeah, see the way it is standing, guys. Yeah, it is very enjoyable. Yeah, with the 2 feet, then we can now enjoy the way they are feeding. Yeah, this is something very good. You see, this one I've just taken one of it, and it has gone to share with the rest of them. And this is something that is very good. Yeah, you remember, even for them, they are sharing. Yeah, sharing is caring. We can see this has a problem for in the eye. I don't know what happened, but I'll interview the farmer. You see, this eye looks bad, but the other one looks good. Yeah, I'll interview the farmer so that we know what the cause of that. Yeah, let me look at for a good environment, so that I can put these feed for them, so that they can really eat and eat, because we have seen they are hungry. You see the way they are hungry. Yeah, look the way they are feeding well. Look at their mouth part, the way they are. Guy, these things are amazing. Yeah, yeah, let me just put them somewhere so that they can feed. Let me put somewhere here. Yeah, let me put somewhere here. They can feed from there, that side. That side is not dirty, so that they can access the meal from there. You see, like this one is dragging behind. I think the effect is the eye, that actually the problem with the eye. Yeah, that is the effect. So let them feed on it, and as we talk about something else. So I'm going to talk about breeding and reproduction. Yeah, when I'm talking about breeding and reproduction, because rabbits actually reproduce very fast. Yeah, a doe, which is a female rabbit, yeah, can start breeding from 5 months of age. Yeah, which other animal that can start actually can hold pregnancy at the first 5 months after being born? It is very difficult to get an animal holding pregnancy at that month. Yeah, but remember, these These rabbit can hold for that shorter duration, yeah. So that means, and their gestation period is around 28 to 31 days. So that means only a month time you now have your kids, yeah. Remember the young one of rabbit are called kids, yeah. Kid the way, but for cat will be called kitten, but for these ones are being called kit. So kit the young ones of these. So at that age, at around 1 month, you have your kids, and after giving birth, actually a dog can mate again within 2 weeks. Very interesting, my guys, because the animal in this world can immediately after you giving birth in the next 2 weeks. You can just do what we call tanglement. You can mate again and have kids again the next 2 weeks. So that means having rabbit is just actually a great investment that somebody can do. Yeah, having rabbit, that's a very great investment somebody can venture in, because it is very interesting. Yeah, so that means in a year one doe can produce over 50 kids. Yeah, so that means after 1 year, your rabbit will have even produced around 5 to 6 times, in 1 year. So that means that is very interesting, my guys. Very interesting. And remember, about I'll tell you about breeding tips. What you should do about breeding this rabbit, introduce the doe to the back. Remember, back is the male rabbit, so not the other way around. Make sure that you take the doe, you take the female one, you then take it to the cage where we have the male one, so that they can mate there. But don't take a male then bringing it to the cage of these one. And you have to observe them. If mating happens, then you remove the doe after a few minutes. You don't just take them there let's say the whole week that they stay together. No, you just take them, you make sure they have met. After mating, you now take it off from there, then you record the mating and expected delivery, because I told you people, look at the way it was rubbing its mouth. Very interesting. You see the way it is rubbing its body. Look the way it is licking the feet. Very interesting. Look. Because this is an animal that actually, it's very interesting. Another thing, so I'm going to talk about common diseases and prevention. The common diseases that we have in rabbit keeping and how to prevent these diseases. One of the diseases, we call it actually it's called snuffles, and another word for snuffle is pasteuroliosis. Where you can see that a rabbit can be having a running nose, then you can see it sneezing, and it is caused by poor ventilation. We have seen the way something about poor ventilation. The way we have talked about, you have to be having a place where there is free flow of air. Like here, you can see the way where mesh and the entire thing, there is space. So that means you can keep away the pasteuroliosis disease in this rabbit. Another thing is about diarrheaing. Actually, often this diarrheaing also always come from bad feeds or parasites. Remember when I'm talking about bad feeds, so that means I told you about molds and the entire thing. These things cause the diarrhea because, and there is something like food poisoning. The way humans have food poisoning, the way to these rabbits. Remember, these rabbits, they have something that we call pseudo stomach. It is like the animal, it digests plants like the ruminants. So they have a pseudo stomach so that they can digest these grass and the entire thing. So when I was talking about parasites, worm overload can cause diarrhea. Because I've really handled something about parasitic infection, where we have seen about worms and the entire thing. Like you can see this female, this big female here, you can see the way the coating is. It is not appreciable. I really suspect something like this farmer is not deworming this rabbit. I have to ask the farmer those questions so that he can tell me about what is going on, why he's not deworming this, because that is one of the things that farmers for rabbit, they get it wrong, because they have to deworm rabbit the way human beings are deworming themselves. Yeah, another thing is about ear mites and fleas. Yeah, when you come inside here, you might get that some of the areas in rabbit, you can see that there is what we call hair loss. Yeah, it is just the loss of hair from the ears and other place. That rabbit has gone to sleep. I don't know why. Yeah, let me show you that the other one has gone to sleep. I don't know if it is full or what is the problem, because I need, after here they have to do a thorough cleaning, because I have to inspect. I like animals that they are in a good place, they feel well, and I really appreciate that. Yeah, keeping the animals good. Yeah, so I was talking about ear mites and fleas. Yeah, these are the ears of the rabbit. Yeah, those are the ears of the rabbit. Remember, people are used in holding the rabbits through the ears. Yeah, that is not recommended, because I'll show you on how to handle. Before I wind the video, I have to show you, after I'm done with marketing, I have to show you guys on how to handle a rabbit. Remember, a rabbit should be handled like any other animal. Yeah, good handling and the entire thing. When I'm doing the interview, I'll be holding one of the rabbit here, so that I do an interview. Even for me, I enjoy holding this rabbit. Yeah, so I'll demonstrate that practical. So another thing that can affect a rabbit is something about coccidiosis. This is a parasite that causes bloody diarrhea. When you come here, then you get something like a bloody diarrhea. That means your rabbit will be suffering from something called coccidiosis. And when it's suffering from coccidiosis, you make sure you give them something containing coccidiostat. Coccidiostat is it is the treatment of coccidiosis. Something like a sulfur-based drug can actually act effectively against these coccidiosis. Remember, sulfur-based drug, an example is something like amplorium or any sulfur drug can work very well. So to prevent such diseases, one of the things about clean housing regularly. Before I get out of here, they have to do a thorough cleaning, so that we can really appreciate this. My visit just brought a lot of impact to these animals here. Yeah, remember, I usually tell people, happy animal, the environment has to be clean, and with that they will be very healthy. Another thing is about quarantine sick or actually new rabbits. When you want to bring a new flock, a new rabbit here, you have to put it in quarantine, so that to see if it is doing good, if it is not sick, and the entire thing. And when a rabbit is sick, make sure that you isolate. Yeah, the reason for isolation is because some of the diseases. Yeah, remember, I've talked contagious diseases. Contagious diseases are the diseases that can be transferred from one rabbit to another rabbit, like coccidiosis. Yeah, when you have an incidence of coccidiosis here, you are at risk. It can be transmitted to the rest of them, so they are at risk of them. Another thing is about use preventive measures like deworming. Yeah, you have to deworm your rabbit after every 3 months. Yeah, that is the rule. 3 months. Most of the animals are supposed to be dewormed after 3 months. Yeah? Doing that, you will be having a healthy rabbit. Yeah, a healthy rabbit indeed. Yeah, and another thing you have to avoid, wet areas, and apart from wet areas, about dirty feed. Yeah, when you go bring feed for these animals, make sure you put them somewhere they can dry a bit. Then you can proceed giving them. Yeah? With that, you will get that the process of drying first, you will get rid of bloating, and apart from bloating, when they are wilting, in case there was something like an insect there, it will run away, because when you are wilting, so that means the condition will be harsh for those insects and the entire thing, insects, parasites. So that means the conditions will be harsh, so they will run away, and leaving your things to be very clean and free from any contamination and the entire thing. Another thing which rabbit farmer don't do is about consultation. Yeah, they have to consult a veterinarian. Yeah, when you see things that is abnormal, make sure that you consult your veterinarian, so that he can come look at this rabbit, and he can really help you on how to manage these rabbit. Yeah, on one side here they have just come here, but one has not come here. So if you need to help identify rabbit diseases, I will be doing a full episode of rabbit health in maybe when I get to another farm that has a lot of rabbit, I'll be doing actually a script of rabbit diseases and how to do everything about rabbit. So I'm going to dive on something about marketing your rabbit. Yeah, now let's talk about business. Yeah, how do you sell your rabbits? First of the ways you can sell your rabbit is about meat market. Yeah, that meat market means those are butcheries. That is one of the meat market, restaurant and individuals, where somebody can slaughter a rabbit in their homestead, then eat as food. Yeah, or somebody can buy meat from a butchery, then go cook, then feed as family. Yeah, another thing is about breeding stock. Yeah, you sell rabbit to other farmers so that they can use them in breeding. I don't know what it is eating. Yeah, like that I really suspect it can be containing mold, because that is a dried banana peel. Yeah, it came from a banana that has ripened, so you can see it has changed color, so there is a possibility of molding. So this is very dangerous for animals, so we have to be conscious enough about raising animals. The way you need clean food, clean water and every other thing clean. Yeah, even animals, they need the same thing. Yeah, another thing is about manure. Rabbit droppings are amazing organic fertilizer. I don't think if there is any other fertilizer that can defeat rabbit manure in terms of fertility rate. Yeah, it is very high. Even there are some people who are buying some urine from the rabbit. Yeah, I don't know they are going to make what with the urine, but I'll just go do some research and I tell you why rabbit urine, because there is a time people are buying rabbit urine. Yeah, and I think it has a lot of nitrogen, just to fix nitrogen in the soil and the entire thing. Yeah, another thing, you can just marketing this can be used as pets. Some people keep rabbit for companionship. You can just get somebody just carrying a rabbit so that he feels good handling a rabbit, so that he can really appreciate. Yeah, remember this is a very good companion animal. Yeah, imagine me holding a rabbit, then walking with it up down. Yeah, it is very good for it. So another thing is just maybe about marketing tips. Yeah, actually join what we call farmers group on WhatsApp and actually the agribusiness cycle, because you can really learn a lot. Yeah, when somebody is buying something like urine from rabbit, you can make maybe your house where you can be collecting the urine and go sell them. You fetch a lot of fortune. Yeah, remember that is an extra cost. Fertilizer, what is manure, that is an extra cost. Yeah, another thing is about use social media to maybe tell people that you have rabbit, and you even teach people on how to keep these rabbit and the entire thing. If a new technology arises, just train them so that they can be equipped with the modern ways. Yeah, brand yourself. Yeah, what do I mean by branding yourself? Keep records. Yeah, take actually quality photos and offer advices to a buyer. When a buyer comes here, make sure you offer goods, actually good advice to the buyer, so that he can be motivated on what is happening. Yeah, remember, rabbit is low cost, low maintenance and very profitable if you do it right. Start small, learn as you go and stay consistent, guys. And remember, even just 3 doors and 1 bag can be very powerful business in the few months. Yeah guys, if you just liked this content for today, make sure that you subscribe, share and you like, as I want to get the owner of the rabbit so that we can do one-on-one interview and you people can hear about the interview and we can really appreciate how we started on the entire thing. Yeah, I'll call the owner so that we can do one-on-one interview. Then we really appreciate. Yeah, you actually is just equipping us with knowledge, because he rearing these rabbits, maybe he has a lot of experience about these rabbits. He can tell us the challenges of these rabbits, and at the end of the day, things will be good. Yeah, you can see now they are doing something like construction here. They are making a good housing system for these rabbits. Yeah, this is how they are doing it. Yeah, now they are making this house here, then they will carry it and take it somewhere else. Yeah, so I'll just call the owner of the rabbit so that I can just do one-on-one interview. Then we proceed from there, guys. Yeah, stay tuned. Welcome so that we can go one-on-one. Yeah. Yes, guys, I'm here one-on-one with the owner of these rabbits that have come to visit here. So I'll just do one-on-one interview with him first. I'll be asking him questions, and after there he'll be asking me maybe question on how to grow about these rabbits. Remember, I usually tell people that I'm not a veterinarian, but at least I have a gift from God about raising these animals. Remember, I go by the name the Animal Lover, yeah? Farm with Maxwell. That's my YouTube channel name. If you like, you can you can like my channel, subscribe, comment, and share to other friends so that they can just get learned about these animals daily. Yeah. So I'll request the owner for this rabbit so that he can introduce himself, and after there I think I'll ask question about this rabbit farming, then we proceed. Yeah. Then now we can start. Yeah. You can tell us about yourself. Yes, and what you do. Yes.
So my name I'm Ezekiel. So I'm a rabbit keeper. I just decided to keep rabbits as my hobby.
Okay. So what I can ask you, what inspired you about keeping these rabbits? What inspired you?
I just copied it from my friend who is a good rabbit keeper. So that the boy motivated me to just start rabbit keeping.
Okay, how long have you been keeping these rabbits?
Just like 1 year.
1 year now.
Yes.
So that means because I can just see the population is because the population is not good. Have you been selling other rabbits, or how have you then achieved these 4 rabbits? Because in the last 1 year, if I try to approximate this rabbit population, that means you'll be having around 50 and beyond. Remember, it only takes a month for a rabbit maybe to be pregnant and give birth. Only 1 month, that is 28 to 31 days. So why do you have less rabbit and the entire thing?
I've just been selling this rabbit.
Yeah.
When the rabbits get pregnant, just give it time like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah.
I sell the young ones.
Okay.
So that they can reduce the population.
Yes.
And get the population that they can manage.
Okay. And how do you feed these of your rabbits? How do you feed them?
I just give them weed from the farm.
Yeah.
And I just give them some feed from market.
Yeah, feed from market. Yeah.
Yes.
So that means sometimes you give them pellets or which feed are you talking about? The cabbages, kumawiki, or the pellets?
Yes. Cabbages, kumawikis, Irish potato, peels.
Okay. Do you know that cabbages are very poisonous to these good breed of animals? Yeah? Because there is something that we call bloating. Yeah. Bloating is the swelling of the stomach. Yeah. You get that. Your rabbit is dead, then the stomach is very big, yeah, like it was pregnant, but it was not pregnant, yeah. That is what we call bloating, yeah. What do you do to just about this bloating so that you don't have those incidences of bloating and the entire thing?
These rabbits, most of the time I just give them feed from the garden.
Yes.
When the feed is small in amount,
Yeah.
I may go to the market and bring cabbages in small amount just to give them as I wait to go to the garden.
Yes, I've seen your housing structure.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was in your housing structure doing some content about your housing, because I have to show your audience, my audience, how things work here. Yeah, I've just seen something like about the environment. Yeah, part of it is not appreciable enough because it wasn't that clean enough. That is one of the things. Another thing is about the floor. Yeah, and actually I really suspect about not being clean is because the floor. Yeah, the floor is something that you have put something like a timber down. Yeah, so that means when they defecate, they do what? The waste materials remain there. Yeah. Why? Because for me, I was thinking about you putting something like a wire mesh there down, so that once they defecate, it goes directly to the ground, not just remaining there in the timbers. Because with that, it will cause dampness, and that is one of the actually the predisposing factors of diseases. Yeah, you have to now rectify that. Or what do you think about putting something like a wire mesh?
there is no problem.
Yeah, so that means you have funds to buy wire mesh and put them down, eh?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, just rectify there that. Another thing I was not now forgetting. Do you deworm your rabbit? Just say the truthful thing. Do you deworm your rabbit?
I do warm them, but for the last time I've dewormed, it's like for the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you have to deworm because like here I'm holding this one, but you can see some hair just they are getting out of this rabbit. Yeah, that is one of the things that one of the signs of not deworming your rabbit. Yeah, because once you fail to deworm, you person, do you deworm yourself?
Yes.
Yeah, if you deworm yourself, make sure just put a schedule. Yeah, when you are just eating those tablets for deworming. Yeah, even make sure your animals, you just do the same thing. Yeah, you deworm yourself. You give your animals the dewormer, and at the end of the day, you people will be healthy, and even your animals will be healthy. Yeah, that is just an encouragement on how to go about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. And how do you hold you call this rabbit? Huh? How do you hold a rabbit?
Just hold
Through
on
the
top of the ears.
this way.
Just give
You are just holding a rabbit with
this way while cutting the stomach.
Let's take a scenario that I was holding your ears that way, yeah? This way, your ears. I was holding your ears this way, then you are just down here, just dancing side by side. Will you feel good?
No.
You won't feel good, yeah? Just, I encourage you when you're holding your rabbit, yeah? Hold it with a lot of love, yeah? The humane way, yeah? Even if you want, you can hold it this way, yeah? Like a small kid, yeah? You feel good while holding a rabbit, yeah? Just have passion for the animal, yeah? Just do what you can do for yourself, yeah? Now, I think my questions, I'll end my question over there. If you have any question, you can ask me what you want to do. Maybe if you want some knowledge about keeping rabbits, I can advise you. Maybe there is something that you have in mind, maybe you want to ask me.
So, what I could just want to get some information. You have told me that I have not dewormed my animals.
Yes.
So, I want you to tell me the best dewormer for the rabbits so that they can be given them.
Yeah, in the market we have different classes of dewormers, yeah? We have the albendazole, we have the ivermectin just injectable, yeah? And apart from the injectable ivermectin, there is maybe oral ivermectin in the market, yeah? And apart from that, even we have something like we call clozanthels in the market, something that we call, okay, I know, the last time which dewormer did you use when deworming? Albendazole?
Yes,
Yeah, if you used albendazole in the first, when you are deworming, yeah? Just shift the deworming, yeah? Just do maybe ivermectin for this time, yeah? Ivermectin is injectable dewormer, yeah? After that, maybe you do it around twice, then you shift to another class of dewormer, maybe the levamisole. You can get that you will be having a healthy rabbit, because the reason why I'm telling you to interchange these dewormers with this one, yeah? One of the reasons, yeah, because you can get that some parasites, some worms inside the rabbit can be resistant to a specific dewormer. So when you alternate, actually it wipes them out. Nothing like resistance, nothing like that. And another reason is because you know, different dewormers have different worms that it kills, yeah? Because let's say for example something like ivermectin, it is very good to maybe the eye worms and even for the external parasites and the other classes of worms as compared to, let's say, albendazole, yeah? Albendazole is very good maybe for roundworms and maybe tapeworms. Then when we talk about something like levamisole, it's very good for something like liver flukes, eh? Those are just classes of worms, so just alternate. Once you alternate, you'll be good to go.
Okay.
Another question?
I've just finished my question.
You don't have any other question? Should I ask you a question?
Ask me.
Okay, let me just find my video there, because I know, yeah, I can decide asking you a very tough question, yeah, but let me not ask you because my session of questions, it was over. Okay, my last question before I wind up, yeah, where do you think you'll be in the next, maybe in the next 1 to 2 years about this keeping of these rabbits?
What I will say there, with more information and guidance from my fellow rabbit keeping groups, so what I say will be far away.
Yes.
I will be having a more step ahead.
Okay. Yeah, brother, that's my wish, because when the next visit I'll be here, I want to see you, maybe because I've seen you are just constructing a good housing for rabbit, yeah? Because you're constructing a good housing for rabbit, yeah? Make sure that you put the whole, what we have talked about, wire mesh down and, yeah? And good ventilation, yeah? Because happy animal, at the end of the day, they will be very healthy and the entire thing, yeah? That's enough for today. Let me just, I can wind up my script from there so that I can just go my way. I think you have learned something, yeah? Remember guys, I go by the name Lumumba Jr. Yes guys, remember I go by the name Farm with Maxwell. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, share to others so that they can learn, yeah? You can just give us the something like a thank you note so that we can close this chapter. You can tell us something like a goodbye so that we can end this video now.
I really appreciate you for taking your time to come and visit me. I've learned so many information from you that I need to try. I need to try on the way I feed my rabbits, keeping them, how to handle them, treatment. Thanks.
Thank you guys. Goodbye for now. Guys, I'm back home and we have really learned something about rabbit farming, where we have seen it a very good venture. People can just do that type of venture because it is very profitable, yeah? The way we see the meat is good and the entire thing is very good demonstrated, yeah? If you want to venture in this rabbit farming, here we go. It's a good venture in terms of market. You can slaughter so that for meat and the entire thing as discussed. Let us venture in rabbit farming, because what I know, some people have never seen a rabbit apart from seeing rabbit meat. So that's the way rabbit is, and I really appreciate for you watching this video till the end so that we have learned. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are a new subscriber so that we proceed learning. So for those who have already subscribed, make sure actually you even watch the other videos for different animals that I've talked about, and also make sure that you like, you comment, and also share to others so that they can learn something the way you have learned, yeah? We are together. That's enough for today. Thank you, my good people. Bye bye.